Recording started, and now we have this beautiful hand, which is still so frozen. It's totally white, and but they already start moving, shaking, and welcoming us into the studio. And today I'm so happy, honored, and really already charged with so much lovely frequency, energy, and everything, because finally I can host my friend. And I'm so privileged because many beautiful people I have hosted on my show, I have never actually had this opportunity to embody. But with this guest, I'm so privileged and happy that we could be so happy to reconnect even in our embodiment. We could hug. We met in real life. Can you imagine? Yes, this is my very good friend Laurie Ellington. Look at this beauty. Look, when we saw her first time, all of us, she is like just walking, and all this special frequency energy radiating. And I don't know, I felt immediately. Actually, you are the very first I met when I arrived. You remember? And we asked each other in Miami, like, "Oh, are you for the conference?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm for the conference. Let's go." I remember that so much.
Oh,
And I'm
me
still.
too. Yeah, I have to tell you, Val, you caught my attention immediately. You
Oh,
were
Mujirab,
so
of course, 2 meter high.
you oh, right. Definitely towering over my little self. But you were just so radiant and just the way that you moved. And energy is my native language. And I picked up on your beautiful energy so quickly.
Oh, thank you so much. And no, it's my beautiful day. And we have started already, of course, chatting with my before I push this button. I always do that with my guest, but I don't feel like actually it's a guest, it's a friend. And I would like to say, yes, we have rescheduled a couple of times, but I knew with this person, it's like it's not even a problem. We are on the same frequency. Everything happens for the reason, and there's always the right time for actually all kind of interconnection. So today, actually, this magical moment when it's supposed to happen, right? So welcome to the show. Welcome my special Laurie Ellington today with us. And the episode title is Ancient Science and the Self-Mastery Architect, where healing becomes leadership. And in this profound conversation, it will be, I'm sure, a very transformative episode. We are going to explore dimension of leadership, of course, the most important one that is often unseen yet defines everything. It's the intelligence of the body, the wisdom of the nervous system, and the architecture of self mastery. And today, like I said, it's a level of God, of our guest in all three domains. So, a visionary at the intersection of science, healing, leadership, transformation. As the founder and CEO of Asian Science, Laurie is known as the self-mastery architect, a pioneer creating living frameworks that reconnect individuals and leaders back to coherence, inner power, and the embodied intelligence. And now, even here, with over 30 years of experience, come on, look at you. You start in the kindergarten. Oh my God. And I know your little secret, but nobody will be believed. No, ever believe your age. No, ever. So even don't mention it. We will not be, unless you show a lot of passports, but still we don't believe. Okay, but a lot of years of experience across mind, body, medicine, neuroscience, trauma science, and integrative health. So here what bridges what many still see as separate worlds: neuroscience and Asian wisdom, biology and consciousness, research and lived human experience. But what makes her work truly revolutionary is this. She does not separate healing from performance. She does not separate regulation from leadership. She integrates them. Because sustainable leadership is not built on only through one strategy. It's built through state, safety, self-mastery from within. Welcome to the show.
I am so grateful. Thank you for that generous and warm and loving introduction and welcome. And it's just such an honor to be on your show, Val. You have such a beautiful, unique, and rare way that you move through the world. Just since I've known you, I've seen that. And I'm really grateful to just for our connection and to be able to have this organic conversation, see what unfolds. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you so much. And I do much. It was very special also presentation keynote. You were brilliantly performing and walking us through the journey in Miami. I remember it was very special in so many ways that I could really feel that it was very special, and particularly because it was not just verbal. I mean, you really presented the whole journey. It was very, very special. So thank you so much for that experience. Laurie, today I know we are people with, okay, titles, accomplishments, certifications, and I know you have many of them. You have achieved so much in your life by, I'm sure, a lot of work, discipline, and perseverance. But one day it was a beautiful, beautiful little girl. You're still this beautiful little girl, actually. But one day it was actually, yes, girl, with her dreams, aspirations, and plans and visions for this life. And I know how much, and I'm sure you know as well, how much our DNA of childhood impact our grown-up mindset and life and experiences, and everything actually starts from the childhood, right? Especially,
Yes.
you know, expert about trauma, and we know how much actually childhood trauma can cause, yeah, impacts during our life. Could you please first walk us a little bit through your childhood and how exactly your childhood impact your life, and in general, how do you see, and people maybe they don't know that much, that actually big importance of childhood roots which still echo in our grown-up lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What a beautiful question and territory to explore. Yeah, I really, for so long I thought that something was wrong with me that needed to be fixed, and that I needed to heal, which I did. I took a healing journey because my childhood was not ideal. Starting from as soon as I got here, this day one, it was a journey of abuse, maltreatment, and neglect. I moved and lived with different people throughout my childhood.
Mhm.
I was with my mother for a period of time, but most of my caregivers suffered from pretty significant mental health issues as well as addiction. So it was quite chaotic. It was very unpredictable, very uncertain, and very tumultuous. And because of that, I grew up thinking something is wrong with me. But I learned that that's not the case at all. Our childhood really builds this architecture inside of us. The nervous system is always responding to all of those inputs that are coming throughout those critical developmental stages. And what it was for me is it was beautiful training. It trained me. I learned how to read a room. My sensitivity, I thought, was a disability. No, it's my strength. So the intelligence that I developed was a social. I could read social, and I could read energy between people. I could sense what was happening in the space between. And so my ability to navigate social spaces was really trained at a heightened level. And I learned that it's through the differences in these spaces, the nuance, the power and the intelligence is in the nuance. And so the way that I call our nervous system, sounds kind of funny, but I refer to it as this internal soft technology. And we all have different technologies inside of us based on our experiences throughout our lives. And the way that mine developed because of adversity became my strength. It became the the tool that I use to be able to do the work that I do. And so what I did is those pain, and I'm not romanticizing pain and challenge and adversity and trauma. But it's really recognizing it as a form of intelligence, because it's really how I adapted. And my adaptation is different than yours. We all have different ways that our nervous system adapted. And it allowed me to turn that pain into purpose and mission. And then, of course, I helped other people to be able to navigate a similar journey as well, whether it's in a leadership space or it's somebody doing a personal transformational healing journey themselves. And I took this path of self-mastery. I learned that, when I was a child, other people governed my nervous system, which is my operating system. And I learned that, I will self-govern. I will self-lead. And that's when I decided I will take the path of self-mastery, and I will help as many people in the world as I can to do the same.
Wow, what a brilliant story. Thank you so much, first of all, for sharing honestly about your childhood. And I, believe me or not, after so many shows, I knew kind of, but I understand more and more that our adversity, yes, it's true. It's actually creative fuel for us to, first of all, find the right way back to ourselves, right? Like you say, it's everything about self-governance, and how after that we can impact other people, and how, if we don't go in this stage of victimhood, right? Because if we go into the path of self-pity party all the time, and we are victims, because we can choose, and many people actually does choose that consciously or unconsciously, but they choose this path, and they leave this path like, oh, I am like this because of, right? But there are so many choices, and it's still, like you said, when you were a kid, so many people, you maybe could not actually do something with that they try to govern your system. But now, because it's in your hand, you are actually responsible grown-up person, so you have to do something with that, and you actually have to do it even for society, because leadership, visibility, and its responsibility, right? Thank you so much for you actually being you and taking fully power to be yourself. This is the most important what we actually can do coming into this earth, right? Just to be the upper version of ourselves. Was it special, pivotal moment in your life when you understood, oh, okay, there are two choices basically to start working towards your not victim path, but like victorious path, and how you can turn this adversity first that it will be your advantages, right? Like, especially you said you could sense the energy, you are very sensible, right? And it's like, I also very sensible, and now especially when we are bombarded by so much information from all the cans and special social media, how we can navigate in this world. Can you please give us more practical actually advice and tools, maybe people who feel so overwhelmed but they don't know how to start this path of self-mastery, maybe just some simple tools, because many people still, they are totally unaware what's going on with them. Thank you.
Things shifted for me when I started paying less attention to the outer world, because it will control you. It will program your nervous system. Our biography is in our biology, and it will program your biology, and it will program your whole story. The chapters will be written by other people. So the task, and we see this from what our ancients have taught us, and we're seeing this now in modern neuroscience, psychoneuroimmunology, quantum physics, epigenetics, that when, mindfulness, meditation, those two worlds meet when we decide to go inward. This inner world, pausing to take the scope off of everything outside of us, even for short periods of time, and going inside. How am I responding to the world around me? One of the most important things that we can do in our lives: self-study, self-investigation. What's happening? What are my reactions? What's the definition of meditation? Just becoming familiar with the habits of our minds, of our mind. What are the patterns that keep repeating? And I learned that I had outdated patterns. I had an old story that, just like software, my internal software needed to be updated. But if I don't know what's happening inside of me, I can't make those conscious adaptations. I will continue to live non-consciously with an old story that is playing out in a new environment that's no longer needed. As Dr. Carl Jung said, father of psychodynamic therapy, he said, if you don't make the non-conscious conscious, it's going to direct your life, and you're going to call it fate. That's just my destiny. That's just the cards that I have been dealt. That's that victim consciousness, right? No. So we shine light on the inner world. And this could just look as simple as sitting with yourself. How am I breathing? What's my pace right now? What's my tone? Where are my shoulders? Are they up in my ears? Because that is a pattern of protection. That's a pattern that says I'm not safe in the world. Can we soften them down? Can we slow our breath? Right? Can we loosen our jaw? Can we smooth out the space between our eyebrows? Maybe soften the back of our tongue. These little practices take us out. I love that you're doing it now. Feel the heartbeat, yeah? These are internal signals that it's a database in there. And it's telling us all day long, am I in safety and regulation? Or am I in brace and threat or danger mode? And these are the two spaces that our operating system is going into at any moment. When you start learning, oh, I just entered into a space and I'm clenching my jaw. I'm having a conversation with my daughter or my spouse or my boss, and I'm clenching my fists. That's information. That the word for that is called interoception, inner knowing. What's happening inside of me? What are my thoughts? What are these patterns? Research shows that there's variations on this, but let's say around 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And about 80% of those are negative. And every thought that we have is programming us. It's a signal to all of our 50 trillion cells. We have 50 trillion citizens inside of us, and they're getting a signal from our thoughts and our emotional responses. And it's either improving the life of that cell or it's killing it. Our cells feel the way we do. So let's think about that. Cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. Organs make up systems. So now that's connected to our physical health, our cardiovascular system, our digestive system, our immune system. That's why we can't separate the nervous system from our immune system. So it's all interrelated. When we start exploring this, we can improve our immune health. We can improve how we respond to a virus or a pathogen just by being able to regulate our own nervous system. So one tool would be, could you just pause throughout the day and check in? Check in with yourself. Even brief moments, even seconds of this meet therapeutic dose. But if we are going in a world of speed, right? We're in this speed and urgency, and social media is coming at us really fast. And shutting down smart brain, prefrontal, these executive network that we have, and
Mhm.
it's increasing activation in the lower non-conscious, more emotionally salient regions in the brain, such as the amygdala. So we become reactive and vigilant. And then
Mhm.
if previous trauma on top of that, that we haven't been able to resolve, we're not aware of that, we're just stacking trauma on trauma. Inflammation in the body is inflammation in the brain. That leads to depression, anxiety. It's all interconnected. So it could be as something as simple as, I'm going to slow my breathing down for 60 seconds per day. I'm going to check in on my body, do a scan, soften my shoulders, unclench my jaw, something similar to what we just did. I'm going to eat one meal per day that's anti-inflammatory, because we know that it's really managing what are the inputs coming into my system and making that decision yourself. That's the self-governance, the self-leadership, not letting the news or other people's perspectives. This is a plastic system. It's being wired and mapped all the time. And we are in charge. We can actually rewire, remap, we can retune just by checking in with ourselves. One of the most powerful things that we can do, a beautiful place to start. Manage some of those inputs coming into your system.
Wow. Lord, first of all, oh my God, I have experienced again this very special blessed moment now with you. It's exactly, I remember the beautiful journey you have been taking us there, and it's a huge group, it's different energy. Oh my God, and it was a lot of thousands of people, and you stepped in, and you were like this small pure bliss with all this like radiation and the energy and your tone, your voice, and how, because it's not like in separation what you are preaching about and who you are with your alignment identity. We could feel it through you. It's exactly what I could feel now. And I'm sitting basically and putting myself in my eyes, like, oh my God, I could see like hours and hours just following her energy and voice, and like, and it made me so pleasing in all my cells and everything. It's so powerful, it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for giving me this moment again. I am so envy myself now. So thank you so much for this actually also very beautiful explanation, because for our minds, and you have already brilliantly underlined that we have different systems, soft systems, and biodiversity, and we are basically all pure uniqueness, like holistic approach, and all this one totalness, right? And
Yeah.
I know you are also a great master in Asian domain, and how actually everything intertwined in the holistic approach. Could you tell us, because for me this will be new knowledge, I would be so happy to gain a little bit. So what actually, I don't know, we don't have that much time, and that's why I encourage so many people through my audience, please reach out to me. If and reach out, we can give all the information at the end of the show where you can find this magician. But if you go very quickly and you would like to take some, like, major gems, what you are teaching, what is the most important about this Asian teaching, and what we can actually really also, and we have to use now in this, like you mentioned, era with a lot of information and speed and busyness, right? We know, one, it's reconnect with nature, right? But what should we actually really also go backwards even more deeper and teach from our Asian, yeah.
You know, And this is really, these are universal teachings, whether it's the Greeks, the yogis teaching, the Vedas, the Egyptians, the Kabbalah, our ancestral wisdoms from Native Americans. There's a thread that runs through there.
Mm-hmm.
We are being, since we arrived here, we are being conditioned. We are being conditioned to fit into a system. And because of that, we have, and we're also neurobiologically and energetically a deeply interconnected species. Mm-hmm. So we need each other for resources. Because of that, we don't want to be outcasted. We want to fit in, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a lifelong conditioning process. And through that conditioning process, the ancients told us, we lose ourselves. We just morph into what the system or the world wants us to turn into. It's a programming. Mm-hmm. Happening throughout the lifetime. And it's happening throughout our younger years predominantly. It continues. But when our system, where we have the most plasticity inside of us. So what happens, and this is through science, modern science, we see that this system inside of us, because it's plastic, every interaction that we have and we're wanting to fit in so that we get resources, it's all about survival. This is a biological organism. And every single second of the day.
The recording started again. Okay. But you know what? I do love my shows because they are so authentic. I want to encourage every single person in this world that to be a podcaster, it doesn't mean, oh, you have to be so huge or you have to be star or celebrity or whatever. It is, you are a star. You are celebrity of your own Buddha. You have your own light. You have to start spreading your message, your voice every single day. And that's why I would like to encourage people to understand this is so real and authentic. It can happen. People call, sometimes I have kids here, sometimes my dog here. Everything can happen. It should not stop you guys, please. We actually would like to have more and more authentic people and interaction and content, not this curated, not this polished, not this everything. Yes, it can happen. We now had problems, technical problems. But the most important that don't have like problems in the heart language, right? In the interconnections in the energy. So I'm so sorry, but maybe it's also for the better that we understand that, okay, everything can happen and change. And we live in impermanence every single minute. We should adapt. So what was actually, we were discussing, you were brilliantly explaining them connection between our ancient ancestor and actually special now challenging time that we are losing ourselves, right? We are losing, and all these Asian teachings, actually they give us the knowledge that we have more and more go backwards and teach to find our authenticity, if I can put it in just a couple of words. But now please, it's your stage, and I'm sorry for interruption.
Oh, no interruption at all. It's actually just a beautiful demonstration of what we're talking about. As you said, Val, intelligence is responding adaptively and resiliently to whatever emerges without being rigid. But if we're in a state of protection and we're closed and we're defensive and we don't feel safe, we're having a reactive moment, we're going to have a rigid response to something that was unplanned, just like the interruption that we had. But when we can respond with nuance and with adaptability, that's also what the ancients taught us. And sometimes it's not about always being, hard and forceful and rushed and like we have in our society right now. Actually, our strength is in softness, in gentleness. And the ancients taught this as well. And I was just talking about how, these are teachings throughout the world, whether they're on cave walls or in scriptures. For example, the Greeks, what was inscribed at the Apollo at Delphi when you walked in to see the oracle? Know thyself. It's actually the same thing that was inscribed. If you've ever seen the movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves, when he goes to see the oracle, over her kitchen, it said Temet Noske, which means know thyself. So we see this in our movies. We see it in our ancients thousands of years ago. We have been getting the message that study yourself, pay attention to yourself, because we have been conditioned, but that's not who we are. And I often will say, you know, many of us are on a path of transformation and maybe change, and that's beautiful. But in some ways, I also just see it as we're just really revealing who we really are. We're remembering our true essence, our true selves. We had to pattern our operating system to fit in. But what is diversity? Actually creating systems and spaces that allow our biology to be safe, to be regulated so that it can fully express itself. So much of the work that the ancients told us to do was to pay attention to how you move through the world. And is that a conditioned, programmed pattern, an old story, an old script that you're looping in? And many of us who've had, I mean, we've all had adversity and struggles and challenges. Nobody, the human journey does not allow you to get away from that. But the ones who take the hero's journey, or maybe we say the heroine's journey, right? The myth of the hero's journey, are the ones who say, I'm going to take the calling. I'm going to go on an adventure, and I am going to explore how I move through the world, and I'm going to create my own story, and it's going to involve me bumping up against some challenges, but that is what's going to allow me to know myself at a deeper level. And that's what the ancients told us. And there's many definitions of enlightenment, for example, but it's really just intimacy with all things. And that begins with intimacy with ourselves. How do we really become intimate? And people think that might be selfish or too self-focused. If you don't know how you're responding to the world, you can't govern yourself. You cannot lead yourself. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead any other system, group, team, family, neighborhood, community, space, nothing. You can't hold a space where people that have been wired in all kinds of different ways can express themselves. And if you don't have all voices in the system expressing yourselves, you do not have a collectively intelligent space. You have conformity. And I'm not interested in conformity. I'm interested in elevating and expanding our consciousness and actually tapping into the intelligence that exists. Think about a microbiome, our gut, right? Or even a rainforest. It gets its intelligence through diversity. That's how it is able to respond intelligently. That's the resilience. So if you don't know yourself, how are you ever going to express yourself truly and genuinely in any space without just being a conformist and obeying?
So beautiful. And you mentioned already biodiversity. And actually, when people ask me, because I'm patiently talking about neurodiversity, because I'm neurodivergent myself. So, and I explain them though also. It's so easily, it's like biodiversity of brains. Like we have all different fingertips and DNA. Why we should actually believe that we should have the same brains? It's biodiversity, it's colorful and powerful biodiversity of brains. And you have already mentioned so brilliantly why it is so important for us as species to be in unique by ourselves, but in oneness, right? And what do you think, how we actually, especially people who has neurodivergent, can operate and help ourselves to navigate and self-govern? Because on the top of everything what's going on here, also when you have this neurodivergent traits like ADHD, OCD, dyspraxia, dyslexia, which are already, I call it mental uniqueness. I reframe specially. I don't call it anymore with medical language, disabled, diagnosis, disorder. This, it's crashing. It has been labeled for so many decades and years. It has destroyed me for so many years myself. So what do you think? How could you advise people who actually has this special mental uniqueness also to use these powerful tools you are teaching for better self-governance?
See it as intelligence. It is not to be fixed. It is not, we do not need to try to help people fit into and conform. Our responsibility is to create spaces where the diversity can be expressed. I don't see neurodiversity as so much of a label, like you said, or I mean, obviously there's policies that support it, but it's less about that. It's biology, and it's adaptive, and it's intelligent, and it's resilient. If we try to flatten that out, we lose the collective intelligence. We lose the shared intelligence that we have. And we are interdependent. So it's really how we are coming together and supporting the divergent. I don't know if you ever saw the movie. That's I think there's 3 of them, Divergence, and where it's such a beautiful movie where she is a divergent thinker.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she's not conforming. She doesn't blend in. So they want to get rid of that. She doesn't fit in. But actually, it's the divergent, and it's divergent thinking, but I see it as biology. So I see it as divergent perception. So you've got a room full of people. You've got somebody that perceives, like me, maybe you, the emotional weather. Mm-hmm. You've got somebody who perceives, like a different perspective or viewpoint on something, or all kinds of different ways to perceive the world. Until we bring all those together, one like mono perception, we lose so much of our collective IQ. And so to see ourselves as, I'm actually like my presence is elevating the consciousness, and I need to be able to tap into that, use it as a strength. I actually see, not as an identity necessarily, but I do see complex trauma as some form. It does create some form of neurodiversity, because my nervous system developed differently because of those inputs. And so honor those inputs. We don't need to let our story go. We need to integrate it, and we need to use it to elevate and expand consciousness in societies, and to hold spaces for people where they feel safe enough to actually express who they really are and not suppress that. And that takes self-regulation. And that is not the focus of our culture, is to help people to regulate. But when we can regulate our internal world, that's the only way that we can hold a space for other people to be in safety and regulation. And if people are in threat, if people feel that they're going to be judged, they're not going to be accepted, then we lose their intelligence. So be that person who walks into a room, and you, through your story that's in your biology, you harness those differences that you have, and you bring them to spaces, and you hold a space of safety and regulation where other people can express themselves, and that's going to elevate the intelligence of any space. So we are people that are more divergent are really able to lead and hold spaces that are more intelligent and more elevated. We need it. And for us to see ourselves as leaders in those spaces, we don't need to be fixed, and we don't need to try to fit in. That's not the route to take. We need to know ourselves and know how we respond to the world, and bring those uniquenesses of every one of our nervous systems have been wired differently. And that's what makes us beautiful.
Wow, wow. I see, I'm sitting basically like hypnotized. I'm like, sitting and more like we'll be enveloped by the energy, what you are talking about. And I'm like, all my cells are really responding and like with this frequency. I'm so happy to have you in my league for this amazing support. That yes, it's what I'm teaching all the time. It's not that we have to feel ourselves that we are broken and we have to be fixed. No, the system should evolve, that it's two-way, actually to pass away, and we have to build a system where people can feel more safe, psychological safety, to show their uniqueness. So thank you so much for your brilliant support. You're, oh my God, amazing. And of course I could, and I'm willing, I hope, I wish myself to have more and more this beautiful magical time in your presence, Laurie. Before we're wrapping up, I'm always having a small game in magic, and I do believe in power of magic. And we started our episode with positive note at childhood. And okay, though we have different experience in our childhood, but it's still the most magical time. We still believe and we're present to the kingdom of magic. I don't know why we unlearn when we're grown up so bad, actually. And I'm inviting, like, oh, I'm joking, like, my vice president, and people, oh, I'm not warned that actually will be trio. I believe it's just studio for us too. And then I pull out this beautiful, my vice president, it's her. You see, this is this goldy, beautiful, pinky toffee one, very nice vice president. She doesn't actually, scream at me, or actually very, yeah. Those we need, some people who can challenge our perspectives, but mostly we are aligned. So we would like to make a wish for our guests, true. And, and Ginny Lamb can grant 3 wishes, but we want to help as many guests as possible. So we are granting 1 wish per guest, but we can guarantee the quality. We are not going for quantity, but quality. So my last question for today, before you saying where my audience can find you and all your contacts, actually. So my last question for today would be that beautiful wish for me and for my Ginny vice president, so it can be whatever you want, exactly what you are like channeling today with your energy and the presence being on the show. Everything from salad with pineapple to peace in the world. I don't know. So what's wish you would like my vice president should fulfill for you?
I really want people to know that all of their power lies within them. It's all within. As Rumi said, one of our ancients, the universe exists within you. Ask all from yourself. Let's turn our gaze inside and know that we are equipped with everything that we need. And this is what I want for people. I want to see us expand consciously, to heal, to take these wounds that we have and we turn them into wisdom, and we transform the world with kindness and care and compassion. That is our most intelligent state, not fear, not worry, not anxiety, That's not where our intelligence lies. Our intelligence lies in coming together as a human family, knowing our power lies within, and taking care of each other. And that's my wish. That's my wish for the world. And that's what I want to see as well. And that's what I am on a mission with sisters like you to help create in this world. I love the genie lamp.
Oh,
That's so fun. Yes,
she's,
it's
uh,
an
she's so
ancient object.
grateful. Yeah, she's grateful, and then she's already on the path of making this wish. So thank you, so beautiful, beautiful sister and soul. Yes, and I'm so much in alignment with your wishes, kindness, compassion, and that all answers are in ourselves. So please, last answer from you on my question: where people can find you, can reach out to you to get even more this beautiful, beautiful energy and teaching and everything what you just radiating just by being yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Val. And again, just super honored to be here in this space with you. And I love how you refer to the energy in your cells. You know, I really feel like our conversation is just evidence of what we've been talking about. We've just in this time we've been together, we have changed our neurochemistry.
Mm-hmm.
We have changed how we are electrically firing inside. And we've even probably upregulated health genes. So
Mm-hmm.
just in the interaction that we're having, this like high consciousness, high impact conversation is a beautiful example of how we change the world. It's so wonderful. But to get a hold of me, I'm on social media handles, Science of Self Mastery on Instagram, and I do post teachings on there, and I see your beautiful work as well on there. Also, I'm on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook as well. Those are the 3 social media channels that I'm on. I also, my website is ancientscience.net. You can also reach out to me, email Laurie at laurieellington.net. Happy to take emails, or you can connect through me through my website. Any of those platforms work for reaching out to me. And I will be having, be on the lookout for, I'm creating a community on School for Science of Self Mastery. So that is coming soon, but I'll be posting the invitations for people to join me on that community where we get to take a deeper dive into the path of self mastery, where we bridge together these ancient wisdom and ancestral practices with modern science.
Amazing, amazing. And I'm sure I will be more than happy to host you again. And then we can spread even more awareness about all the beautiful path you are walking people through. So thank you so much again. And like again and again, like answer in our. So please still believe that the most important thing you can do today is actually go inside yourself, sit with yourself, be authentic, be unique. And yes, we are not for conformity here. We're for compassion and collective kindness.
Yeah.
We work for kindness. This is the most important language, how we can bound. Thank you, Laurie. Much love and pure bliss. And I hope we can meet soon actually again. And I'm dying to give you again my big giraffe towering hug.
I can't wait. We will
And
stay connected. Thank you,
please
my
take
dear.
very good care of yourself. And yes, and for my beautiful audience, please subscribe and vote and come and reach out to me if you need also to reach out to Lauren. And yes, until next time, see you. Bye bye. Bye bye.
My organism is saying you have to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So the survival pathways are telling us you better fit in. If not,